Hi everyone, my name is Bridget and I'm an English secondary education major here at the College of New Jersey. And today I'm going to be talking to you about a play called The Crucible by Arthur Miller. On the surface, this play is about the Salem witch trials, which occurred in Salem, Massachusetts during the 1600s and 1700s. But there's also a deeper meaning which Arthur Miller intended this play to have. He intended it to be symbolic of another period of time during the 1950s in America, a period of time known as the Red Scare. Now, the Red Scare focused mainly on Americans' fear that communism was infiltrating the United States. But before I get too much into that, I want to give you a little historical background. Not too much, because I'm not a history major, but a little bit, just so you know what's going on. During the World War II, the Soviet Union, which was a communist country, and the United States, they were allies. They were on the same side during World War II, and they both emerged victorious. But that also caused some problems because since they both emerged the winners, they both became the two strongest powers in the world. And so there was, since the Soviet Union was communist and the United States wasn't, there was a growing competition over who would exert the most influence over the world. And the United States did not want communism to spread because they did not believe in communism. So a lot of tension grew between the two nations. And this tension soon turned into paranoia and fear, which is why it's known as the Red Scare in the United States. People began to fear that communists were infiltrating not only the United States government, but also infiltrating American society. People began to worry that their next-door neighbors were communists, or their teachers were communists, or their friends were communists. There was just this rampant fear and hysteria that swept the nation during the late 1940s and 1950s. So a senator by the name of Joseph McCarthy and a committee called the House Committee on Un-American Activities, also known as HUAC, joined together. They became BFFs to hold hearings on seeking out communists in American government and in American society. They began investigating rumored communists. They focused a lot of attention on Hollywood. And if people in Hollywood who were accused of being communists, they could rat out their friends and accuse them of being communists, or just take the accusations and be blacklisted. They wouldn't be able to work in Hollywood. They would be out of a job. So these hearings soon turned into literal witch hunts, which is why it was brilliant of Arthur Miller to use the Salem witch trials as like a backdrop, as a symbol for the Red Scare, because he couldn't come out and blatantly criticize McCarthy and HUAC, or else he'd face the possibility of being blacklisted and being persecuted for his beliefs. So he used the Salem witch trials to kind of represent what happens when hysteria and paranoia are the deciding factors in trials and hearings. Like Abigail and the Society of Salem in The Crucible, it wasn't rational thinking that was declaring people witches. It was fear and paranoia. And when fear and paranoia join together, it's mob rule. There's no justice. It's just people seeking out the scapegoat who they fear causing problems. So Arthur Miller really intended the Crucible to represent what happens when hysteria and paranoia are the leading factors in trials and hearings. And he really wanted to illustrate the injustice of such a system without being blatantly obvious and risk losing his job and facing persecution. So if you're interested in learning more about the Red Scare, I have links on this page that will provide more information. Thank you for listening and giving me your time. I hope you all have a fantastic day.